Hey everybody, it's Pete Carmasino with Chaikin Analytics. Today's stock is DocuSign. Let's get right to the chart. Stock's down just about 7% or so. It was down maybe a little further. You can check that on our one-day chart right here. It kind of looks like it's kind of staying toward the bottom end of the range of the day. So what happened? Earnings. Looks like they came in better than expected. Way above, I think about 30 million better in revenues. I think expectations were about 407. They did about 431. That's a 57% increase. So why is the stock down? I mean, it looks as if the guidance wasn't what they wanted to hear, but I mean, bookings are going to be up, but the outlook, it looks as if they're growing so fast, they're having trouble controlling costs. Okay, that's great. What's the chart tell you? That's what we do, right? We kind of help you find names that are setting up one way or the other. Sometimes there are names that you might want to avoid. Sometimes there are names that you might want to be involved in. Trading around earnings is always a tough thing to do. I call it boxing the invisible man. You just don't know. Here it is. Stock came out with great numbers, going down, right? 7%. Kind of probably confusing some investors today. Let's look at how our system could have helped you. We've got a power gauge. It was very bearish. It was very bearish today. It was very bearish yesterday. And I think it probably turned bearish somewhere around February 23rd, maybe even the 21st, right? So for several weeks, it's been bearish, but that's not really, one of the key components, although it is the alert, right? When the rating changes, you want to take notice. The first thing is relative strength has been weak for months. What does that mean? Well, it's underperforming the S&P. The trend was still moving higher. It was kind of slowing down. You could absolutely see on the chart how it's sort of, on the lockdown a year ago today, by the way. Hey, here's our 1 year anniversary. The stock had really started to perform. Obviously so, right? What do? They're a software company that helps you sign documents electronically over email, over the internet, and it's a fantastic thing. We used it this year ourselves to purchase our house. So it's a great service, no doubt, great company. But what our power gauge is it is a report card, almost a resume, if you will, of the company. So it's telling you what's happening. So fundamentally, it definitely was struggling. You can see that on the financial factors here, we're pretty much bearish. And a lot of that has to do with the stock moving up so rapidly, price to sales, price to book. Debt to equity is a little rough. I mean, cash flow is a little low as well. You're seeing bearish on our system. I'm not getting it into all the metrics here, but you can go through our system and see all of the important metrics that you're looking for. But let's look at the setup prior to the trade or prior to the earnings. If you were going to try to do that trade, it would have been it's a tough setup to even consider. Why? Well, it was definitely oversold. That was maybe something that looked interesting. Other than that, with a bearish rating, negative relative strength, what am I seeing again? I did this the other day on another stock. Lower highs, lower lows. It's kind of just looks like a lot of other names out there in the industry and in the markets today as well. But it's just giving you that feeling of a rollover. So this would have been one that you might have paused on if you had our system to help direct you, if you learned our process, if you just had our checklist. The checklist was a mixed bag, right? You're talking about power gauge, relative strength right away. Those are the two main components of the checklist that we look for as far as strength. And then the timing, and obviously that was just a mixed bag, right? It was kind of all over the place. None of these were aligned in your favor to be long. So if you were looking and you were a subscriber, you might have looked elsewhere. If you were an owner, you might have maybe started protecting way back here in the 250 range when it started to break down, or maybe even sold and took profits. So we want to invite you to come join us. And there's only one way to do that. You come in, you do a free trial. How do you do a free trial? I'm glad you asked. ChaikinAnalytics.com/stock spotlight. Just test drive it. It's 14 days for free. ChaikinAnalytics.com/stock spotlight. Right? If you're interested in following me, I'm on Twitter at Pete Carmasino. It's Pete Carmasino down the bottom there. Come check it out. We do some things on Twitter here and there. But to use the software, you got to come check it out. You'll have access to everything, all the tutorials, all the newsletters, and you'll be able to talk to guys like me and other folks in our support staff as well. We're here to help. Hopefully we see you soon. Thanks again.